Hey friends, it's Jeannie here today for Not Too Shabby, and I'm sharing this one layer scene card using Sunny Studio Stamps Balloon Rides. This stamp set has a large hot air balloon and a bunch of different critters, as well as some decorative items. Personally, I went into this card unsure of what I was going to do because I couldn't really decide which critter I wanted to use in the hot air balloon, and I had originally thought that this would end up being an interactive card, which it definitely is not. It ended up being a one-layered scene card. Because I couldn't decide which critter I wanted to use, I decided to use all of them, and I thought it would be really cute if I had them all peeking above a wall and watching the hot air balloons float by together. And so that's what I did. I lined them up using one of the Misty Corner rulers, and that way I was able to get them all straight. I did a bit of simple masking for the hot air balloon and the clouds because I wanted one cloud in front and one cloud behind. I did create a mask using Eclipse masking paper, and you'll see that the hot air balloon, I only did a partial mask for it because I didn't really think it through when I was creating this card. In the end, I decided that I was going to do an ink blended background. In order to be able to do that, I had to stamp all the images I had put on my card panel and create masks for them. These images are really easy to cut out. They're not super intricate or anything like that. And they also have a really bold black outline, so it made fussy cutting easy. I think the most difficult part was probably the little square that is between the hot air balloon and the basket. And that was easy to do. You just fold it, snip a little bit in the middle, and then cut out that square area. So once I have everything masked off on my card panel, I'm going to mask off the bottom portion of my card panel and ink up the wall using Hickory Smoke Distress ink with a Trinity Stamps blending brush. And then once I finish the wall, I will remove that mask, move it to the wall, and then work on the sky. When I first started card making, I really invested my money into distress inks because I thought it was really versatile to use, and also I didn't have very many Copic markers, so it was challenging to be able to color up a background using markers. The inks were something that I relied on heavily to create my backgrounds, and this is what I'm doing here today. This is kind of like one of the cards that I would have made as a card maker when I first started out. I really love blending a background, and in particular I love these colors. I was going for a cotton candy sky, which is why I used pink and purple. I thought that it would be really pretty and it would be almost sunset kind of. And yeah, so that's why I went with these colors. I picked Spun Sugar and Shaded Lilac because those are the two lighter colors for the distress inks. And then I kind of wanted to brighten up the top portion of the sky, so I went in with Wilted Violet and Dusty Concord. I also decided, because there was a lot of white space, I wanted to add a bit of shimmer. So I mixed some Perfect Pearls with water and splattered it all over the card panel. It's super subtle, but it catches the light. It's just really pretty. For the wall I created, I had marked it off in pencil. So I'm going to go in with a Copic friendly marker just to mark off that line so it matches the bold outline of all the images. Once I did that, my scene is more or less complete and I just need to color everything up. So anytime I do a scene card, it's usually a lot of ink blending and a lot of coloring. So this is a color heavy video, and hopefully you enjoy the process. For my Copic coloring, I am doing what I normally do. I use about 3 markers per color. I will go in with the darkest, marking off all the shadows of a particular image. For the clouds themselves, I actually added a bit of circular patterns to the clouds so they looked a bit fluffy. Then I'll go in with a mid-tone and then with my lightest color just to blend everything out so it doesn't look too harsh. So I do this with all the little images I'm coloring, and I thought it turned out really sweet. I really love that background. I did decide to go for bolder colors for the sun and for the hot air balloon because I really wanted it to pop against that light sky. And the sky kind of reminds me of those clouds that happen every once in a while where it's just cotton candy skies and it's so pretty, and a picture just never captures the gorgeousness of the skies. I haven't seen one of these cotton candy skies lately, but I think I just haven't been out when the sun has been setting. I do miss seeing them when I come home from work and it's about sunset and you just look up and you're just kind of in awe of the sky. I do miss that. So this card is really fun for me because I think that the critters are kind of living out one of the things I want to do that's on my bucket list, and it's riding a hot air balloon. I know that none of them are in it, but I think that just the idea of being able to go onto a hot air balloon would be really fun. Because of the pandemic, like this past year, I haven't been able to do much of anything. And so now I'm kind of getting a bit antsy thinking about all the things I want to do after it's safe to do so and this pandemic is over. So I am writing out a list of all my bucket list items because I really do want to achieve them. I find it a bit humorous that I've actually gone skydiving before I've gone onto a hot air balloon, because a hot air balloon just seems fairly a stroll in the park compared to jumping off of a plane. When you do things off your bucket list, it kind of either you plan it or it just happens. And for skydiving, it actually just happened. We were there in Hawaii because my sister and my cousin, they're the same age, had graduated college. And so my mom and his mom decided that we would do a family trip to Hawaii. And we were there because it's also Hawaii. Like, who doesn't want to go? We had brought it up one night and then we were like, you know what? Let's do it. So we did the research and we picked a location. And then I think within 2 days we went. It was so fun. It was a little scary. I had actually told my instructor to push me off the plane because I knew that I wouldn't be able to do that, mainly because I had gone ziplining in Santa Cruz before, and there was this portion where you kind of had to rappel. But in order to rappel, you kind of had to jump off, and I just couldn't do it. So I had to ask the guy to push me off so I could rappel down this like big tree. And so I knew that it would be the same with skydiving. If I looked down, I was not going to jump. So I needed that push. And I told him it was perfectly fine. Just push me off and we can do it. And I'll be really, really happy. And he did. It was just really fun. I really enjoyed the experience. It was just really pretty. And if you ever have the chance to go skydiving in Hawaii, you definitely should. For my hot air balloon bucket list item, I think that I am planning to do that up in Napa because I've seen photos and I think that it would be really pretty. Napa is about an hour and a half away from San Francisco, and it'd be the perfect location to do it. They have good weather. I think the only concern would be maybe not going during wildfire season because in the past few years there have been a lot of fires up in Napa, but I think it would be gorgeous regardless because they have the wineries and the vineyards, and it would just be really pretty to see from a hot air balloon. So that's on my list. Normally, I am a total homebody. I don't really want to do anything, but usually if it's on my bucket list, I will make the time to do it just because how else would you get that experience unless you made it happen yourself? And because I've been cooped up in the house for like a year, I've been more anxious to get out. So back to the card, I stamped the sentiment directly on the a bottom portion of the card, and the wall kind of looked empty to me, so I chopped off about 1/4 of an inch so I could mat this on purple cardstock, and I really like how that looks peeking from the top and bottom. I also still thought that the card was a little bit empty because there's a lot of space on the wall area and then in the sky, so I pulled out these Trinity Stamps heart embellishments. I forget their actual names, but I'll have it linked down below, and they come in clear and frosted. I used the clear ones in the sky, so it kind of looks like heart bubbles floating in the air, which I thought was really cute. And then I used the frosted ones for the wall area just so they stood out a little bit more, and I didn't want it to look like water droplets on the wall area. But once I had those embellishments in place, this card is done, and I'm really happy with how this card turned out. It's just a cute little scene. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!